The majority of people fail because they don't have confidence in what they're saying.
Mm.
They don't know what to say to a home buyer or a home seller. The biggest lesson to learn about ego is that it's sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. And it shows up in ways you would never expect. Never expect. But at the end of the day, it was cheaper than what I repaid in college tuition. I'll tell you that.
So you
So,
rehab, you learned that.
yeah.
Today we have a wonderful, a special guest. And the reason for that is normally you meet the regular realtor, the one that just want to sell homes. But then you meet this person who is looking to expand and grow and create a network of people that can help you grow. And also you get to work with her too and grow with her. And Michelle has been an amazing woman trying to, or better to say, attracting a lot of wonderful people to her team with EXP. And she goes beyond being a regular realtor. And that's why I thought, Michelle needs to be in Kasher Spark Show. How are you today, Michelle?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me. And I'm so honored that you reached out to me as one of those women you just described. So thank you. Thank you, Jen.
Yes, I mean you are a leader. I have seen you out there in your events and you're trying to attract people to you, help them grow in their business, help them grow as human beings beyond just business. And I love that about you. Michelle, can you share how do you became so attracted or so empowered to help other people succeed in the real estate industry?
Oh, that is something I work on every day. I don't say that it's something that like empowerment just showed up or that um, it's funny how you're phrasing that question because this was part of my like journaling this morning, like literally what you're talking about right now. It didn't just show up one day. It started off with just putting in that hustle and that work and building those skills towards, trying to master a craft called selling real estate. So, learning everything that I could about that foundational business. I mean, it's, whatever business you're in, there's a foundational piece, right? You were an engineer. There's like, foundational things that you needed to know just to get your engineering degree, right? Like certain classes you had to take and how do you get A's in those classes? What is it? So you're constantly trying to get yourself the best grade that you can and mastering whatever field you're in. Mine is sales. And and so I just worked diligently at giving the best effort I could. Um, not for other people, but to prove to myself that I could do that. And then catch your spark, I guess, is what happened. Catch your spark is what happened, is that people started to take notice. Hey, Michelle is really proficient and good in this arena. And so it wasn't like I, went out setting about building confidence. I went out about building mastery in a craft, or in a skill, that's what I went about to try to build. And so then when people start to take notice, like, oh, she's really good, then they start to seek advice and they start to seek, you know, how could you help them grow? And how did you learn these things? And they start to ask. And then it feels so good. It feels so good to be asked those questions because you have an opportunity to now share what you've learned and to pay it forward. And um, I could talk for a while about this, but I think then I could keep going with that. It feels good to pay it forward, but then you got to be careful Because if that happens too often, then your ego shows up and you think, I'm crushing it, right? Um, and that's a dangerous spot. So then something typically changes in your life where you realize, so what if you've mastered one arena and you're proficient in one arena? There's so many other skills in life yet to master. And so when I say it's an ever growing conversation, every day I realize, oh my gosh, there's this piece of me that was neglected, and there's this other piece of me that needs to learn. And so it needs to grow. So in your introduction, you were like, Michelle likes to connect and grow and expand. That's why, is because I'm always in pursuit of growth and bigger ideas and how more we collectively can expand as humans.
That expansion as humans, expansion as agent, mastering skills. Now let's start digging into that. Let's start the fun. So tell me, you are successful in many ways in as an agent, and I'm gonna expand over that and the things I know about you. But fundamentals, I'm an agent and you talk about mastering skills. So if you were coaching me or becoming a leader and I wanted to become a realtor, what are those skills you will ask me, Jen, you need to focus on these specific skills so you can start mastering, becoming an agent? What are those? What are those pointers?
The majority of people fail because they don't have confidence in what they're saying.
Mm.
They don't know what to say to a home buyer or a home seller, or if someone's giving you an objection or a condition of sale. Sometimes it's hard to discern the difference between an objection that is legitimate, that needs to be addressed, and a condition of the sale. Like, I'm still interested in this house, but I need to wait for my employer to approve my job transfer. That's a condition,
Mhm.
right? An objection is, um, gosh, the interest rates are really throwing me for a loop or whatever, right? That's something that is overcomable. Like, that's solvable. And you know that better than anybody. The master right here of figuring it out financially. That would be Jen. So I think once you teach people what to say, and how to handle those conversations, then they then become empowered. And that comes with practice of, like, just speaking to more people and practicing what to say. So learning what are the common concerns and objections, and what are those things that come up? What is a condition of a sale, and how do you overcome a condition, and how do you overcome what's an objection? And just really learning how to understand the client and their needs, so that you can fulfill that need ultimately and help them see a path and see a way. So yeah, that's my first answer on that.
Great. So what you're saying, or what I understood, is the first thing to learn is by practicing, so you can gain the confidence to listen and understand what is that your buyer and seller needs, what are their objections or real conditions, things that must happen, and then figuring out different ways to become a problem solver, so you can set yourself aside from the regular realtor that they just want to make the easy sale.
And
So
it starts with knowing what are it sounds terrible on the surface, but if you understand what I'm really meaning, what are the scripts that you need to know? What is the dialogue? What is the common questions that you should be asking to get to the root of most people's concern? I mean, scripts sound so, like, robotic, but scripts are really, okay, in any sales business, there are standard questions to get down to the core of what's really going on.
yes. Yes, and you know what? I love that you mentioned that, because I think that a script earned a bad name because people came with a selfish approach.
Yeah,
that this is about
100%.
selling. And I
Yes,
think that that's why people get so upset with the script. If you try to sell, 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 and not listen and understand the real needs, I think
Mhm.
people get very upset. And I think this is why we are so turned off by the word script.
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly right. And that's 100% right. People see the word scripts as sales and getting
Yes.
and getting what they want out of the situation.
Yes, I love to shift that when I'm raising capital or when I'm leading or doing different things. I call it the discovery process. When
100%.
when we're trying to figure out what is that, how can we help this person? And
Mhm.
people notice and they can feel it when you come with your agenda or when you come with no agenda except to try to understand and help them. And I think that's the biggest difference in this.
Yeah, because people feel that.
Mhm.
People feel that difference of like coming with your agenda. If I'm just looking at Jen going, "Oh, she's so rich. How can I get some money from Jen?"
Yep.
Feel that off of me. But if I come to you with, God, what does Jen need and how could I help her? Because if I can help her, greater likelihood we could become partners in a deal and then we can win together. Gosh, that's exciting. Now I'm creating a relationship with Jen. I'm creating a partnership with Jen. I'm learning from her. She's learning from me. It's like just a whole better way to approach a situation.
Yes, yes. And I love the pointer that you did said it becomes a partnership. And I'm gonna bring something that you brought in the first conversation, first questions about ego and partnerships.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have learned through different partnerships, it's the importance of trusting each other and putting aside egos. And I don't know what have been your lessons with egos, and I'm gonna ask anyway. But the difference it makes when you are willing to set aside the ego and learn from each other, coming with an approach of we want to grow together. And ego is not an issue. I don't need to show you I'm better. I don't need to show you I'm trying to show off, right? It's about, okay, this is where I am. I might not know these things. Do you know anything about it? And it's just bring a different humbleness and openness for us to exchange knowledge and help each other grow. But the moment that you let ego get in the way is the moment that you start putting a wall between partners and you start putting a wall between building trust. Now, talk to me about the portion of ego. What happened? Because when ego shows up, it's like a different version of ourselves. It's a combination of survival and a false confidence, a false Michelle, a false Jennifer. What lessons do you learn dealing with ego?
That is like such a huge, huge, huge question. Um, what lessons you learn? I first and foremost, I'll say the biggest lesson to learn about ego is that it's sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. And it shows up in ways you would never expect. Never expect. You look, your ego can try to keep you safe, like and like safe is that like in a way too, like you said, like even humble. Like ego can show up as humble. Ego can show up as like, you know what? I don't really know that much. I don't want to let on to everybody in this group that I don't know that much. I don't want to seem stupid.
Uh,
And that's your that right there can be your ego showing up trying to protect you and keep you small and stop you from learning and growing and connecting with other people because you want to still be seen as intelligent and capable. And so that's the opposite. That's like one normally people think of ego as like, look at me, like I'm the best and I've got this or whatever, but it can show up the opposite way, like I just described. So, it's just it's a constant like trying to find center.
mhm.
That's why I say at the beginning of this conversation, it's an ever unfolding that can take your whole life to figure it out.
Yes, it is. And I don't think it ever stopped. I mean, as human beings, we have been given the psyche ego as a survival mode. It's in us, no matter what. And as you mentioned, is how do we lead the ego in a way that serves us instead of getting in the way?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that I love about you. You recognize that this is not about showing up, it's about discovering yourself and becoming someone. And Michelle, tell me about how much you have grown from the moment that you make the decision to get involved in real estate, and who is Michelle today. Share 3 lessons that were like mind blowing to you that you look back and I'm like, I'm proud of myself.
I mean, that was 24 years ago, and this is 2024, the end of 24. So it's almost it's a full 24 years for me. So when I look back on that, I who was I then with ego and who am I now? It went from zero ego, or not zero, but ego trying to keep me playing small and keep me safe. It was like, you don't know anything. Who are you to be in this room? You don't even deserve to be sitting with these clients right now. Like, you know, um, you should just go back to bartending. Like, so stupid. I can't believe you lost that listing, or I can't believe you lost, like that was the ego trying to keep me in my safe little comfort, protected little box talking, right? To then ego going the total opposite direction, which I've been at, of like, this is amazing. I get to share all this knowledge of everything I learned because I'm the master at this now. To going the total opposite direction. To now at age, how old am I? Oh my God, I don't know, 48. Realizing, okay, it's neither one of those is the answer. It's like just trying to find the middle ground. But it's that ego has shown up to make me feel small, and it's shown up to make me feel big. And I think that's no matter what profession you're in, if you seek excellence, I think that is just going to be your path.
Yep.
Period. If you are a seeker of excellence, there's no way around that.
There's no way around ego. I'm with you. Um,
None.
yes, yes. I remember the first time I got into a real estate event, coming from one industry, engineering, where they expect you to be the smartest in the room, to have the answers, to a place that you don't even know what an escrow company is. And you're like, what is an escrow company? What are you talking about? Or what is
How do
a
I find these
title?
companies? What?
Right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
shows you a lot. And one of the things that I'm very grateful is that at that moment I understood, oh, I don't have to pretend to be the smartest in the room anymore. I get to be myself. I get to learn. I get to share what I might know. And I get to sometimes sip it, and I get sometimes to talk. And I think that journey is exactly what you're describing, that balance between not knowing anything and believing that you know everything, and then figuring out that if you are that person that knows everything in that room, maybe it's time to go to a different room, so where you know nothing. And that's how
That's
you keep growing and expanding. And that's pursuit of excellence, as you mentioned, is growing all the time, which is happening for you, Michelle, too, right? You were an agent, become very talented, learn different skills. And after that, then you decide to expand your network and getting involved with a different way of doing business as an agent, like EXP. Tell me your experience, because I know you have been very powerful in that arena when it didn't used to be so popular. That's when Michelle was already exploring
Yeah.
this. What has happened with your way of looking at real estate since you joined EXP?
Oh gosh. Like before I joined EXP, I mean, my thinking was pretty limited. Um, because I just saw the traditional way that real estate was done. So I was running a very small but highly productive team. Like there was 4 people doing almost 200 transactions a year. And for many years in a row. And so I would go to conferences and I remember I saw a broker like the day before check-in at this nice warm resort, wherever we were, some hotel maybe in Florida or something for the conference. And I checked in, went down to the pool, went to order lunch at the bar, my bathing suit, and I'm sitting there waiting for the order. And a woman next to me gets the cheeseburger and French fries set down right in front of her, just as her phone rings. And I heard her say, as I'm waiting for my food, "What do you mean their attorneys are involved? How come no one called me? Your first call should be to the broker, not to the attorneys." And she pushed her cheeseburger away from her. And she got up and she started pacing around and walking away from the bar area. And I thought to myself, no way am I ever going to be a broker. I deal with enough day to day. I don't need that additional layer of no way. Well, guess what? I'm a broker now. Like, and I, and I thought, I'm never going to have my own bricks and mortar location. That'll be too much chaos. Guess what? I own my own bricks and mortar building right now. Hey, I think about these things and I think when I met my husband, I was like, ladies, I have a boyfriend. He is so nice and wonderful. Who are we going to set him up with? And God was like, you. Michelle, you're going to marry him, not somebody else. Like you're setting him up. So I think about these things a lot. And I think whenever you have that idea of like hardcore, no, this is never going to be, explore why. If you think this is probably good for somebody else, but not me, it's probably good for you. Like, so, like I often will have those thoughts. Oh, somebody should. God is like, yeah, somebody.
I'm gonna point it out very clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you see a deal, Jed, and you're like, God, who do I know that would buy this or take this or could work?
Yes, that's often crossing my head. It's like, yeah, this might not be for me. There's a lot of times where I need focus because if it's for me, I go into the shopping mode, right? I don't go shopping except for real estate. But to your point, I love how you're sharing this is the openness to accept that that potential no can become a yes in your life, but you have to be open, whether it's in real estate, in personal relationships, romantic relationships. When we
Amen.
are seeing that value, we just want to go for it. And I think that that's why you're a badass too at it. You're like, I see this looks good. No one is jumping. I guess I'm jumping.
I had a multi-family from a past client listed, and it was one of those ones where I think I shared this with you when I met you in Texas. It was everything you would hate about a multifamily. Um, really, really poor condition, super filthy. Tenants have been paying low rent and have been there for over a decade, renting from family who didn't collect and didn't keep up. And she was a senior and she was ailing, so she didn't go there and she didn't care. And everything's broken. And they have like pets in the property that are, like that are just tearing it up, like ripped carpet. I mean, it's full of junk, like to the brim. Like
Wow.
it needed everything. And I went with some friends and we were looking at real estate in Puerto Rico on
Hey.
vacation. Hey. and and or maybe it was Dominican, Puerto Rico, Dominican. Oh, Dominican. Okay, I'm sorry, it was a Dominican. And we're looking at real estate in the Dominican Republic, and I'm on the phone with my client, and he's complaining about how hard it is to evict family members to get this thing. And I thought, Michelle, you're resisting this thing because it's a lot of work, and here you are out of country looking at real estate. What are you doing? Because it's hard. You don't want to do it because you think it's hard and you're looking for something easier. This is in your face. He's basically begging you to pick up this property for a discount, a deep discount.
Hmm?
And a hard no. I own it. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Anyway.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's something very commendable. You decide to adventure beyond the real estate sales mentality. And when I say that, is a lot of realtors, they run through so many opportunities and they say, no, this is not for me, and they stop bringing passive income to their lives. And you decide to do this. You decide, no, yes, it's a lot of work. I'm gonna trade my journey. I'm gonna try it, right? And I think this was amazing because also it opens doors for you to learn what investors are thinking. And it's just that kind of things. It's like, what do I do? Tell me about what happened to you when you first adventure in your first passive income. And also, I know you invested in syndications too. But let's start really quick with the passive income in this property.
Yeah. And I know we got to wrap here shortly. I did just exit one of the syndications that I was in. So that was a bit of a lesson in learning there. And I say to my agents, lessons are not free.
Never.
Lessons cost money in real estate. So I did learn quite a bit there. One of my first things in real estate, my first investing in real estate, was the question?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God, I learned an insane amount. My husband and I say that's officially when we got married, because we bought a property together before we even got married.
Mhm.
So that was actually probably our wedding day. But I just thought, investing in real estate, I'm gonna change the world and I'm gonna help people, and way too much like people pleasing. And I lost so much money because the down economy hit during that time. Man, we put all of our own sweat, so much sweat. I mean, I have done so much manual labor on properties. It's insane. If every physical rehab, like you name it, just to save money and to make it go. And but at the end of the day, it was cheaper than what I repaid in college tuition. I'll tell you that.
So you
So
rehab, you learned that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's taking your own money and your own sweat for starters, because that's how you learn.
Mhm.
Like, you're not going to learn without pain.
Yeah.
And it's either, there's only two ways Mother Nature can talk to us humans here on Earth, right? It's either
Yeah.
like, don't touch the hot stove, don't do that again, or yay, keep going, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, I just being open to receive those messages, good or bad.
Yeah.
Just got to get in the.
Awesome. Well, Michelle, I want to thank you so much for taking the time with us and sharing your journey and your expansion and growth. And I know you will be expanding international too. You're still working on those, the international side and all of that. I will make sure that people can connect with you in the description. I will put the link. That way, if they want to be in touch with you, they can do it directly. Thank you so much for your time again, Michelle.
Thank you. And I could talk to you all day. So thank you for having me. And I look forward to watching this spark turn into a blazing fire.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
All
Bye.
right. Bye. Thank you.